What's going on, everybody? XmanFiles back with another video as a follow-up to my past, most recent video, just discussing my viewpoint on the backlog, my backlog in particular, and why I think in general they should be appreciated and celebrated. Yeah, in this video, I really just wanted to talk about my thought process in regards to looking for new games and adding new games to that backlog because there's no set way to go about it, but I just thought it would be interesting just to share what I'm thinking about whenever I'm buying new games or just considering new games to buy in the future. So the first of hold on, I wrote some things down. The first of five things I consider is the genre. So my three favorite genres are JRPGs, Metroidvanias, and shooters of any sort, whether they be shmups, boomer shooters, military shooters, whatever. So, yeah. Um, 9 times out of 10, if it's a genre I typically don't gravitate towards, like a roguelike or roguelite or an RTS or just like a very strictly a puzzle game, I more than likely will not buy it. And that's not to say that those are bad genres, but 9 times out of 10, if I'm spending my money, I want it to be on something that I'll have like an inkling that that's something that I'll enjoy. As far as my top threes that I listed earlier, I'm always looking for new titles, new franchises to get into. So anything that fits the description of those are probably gonna be top on my list. The second thing to consider is how old is the game. Uh, Typically, older games gonna sell a lot more often, so I can pass on those whenever I'm like looking every Tuesday on Xbox or whenever Nintendo just randomly drops a sale. I can look past the older games because I know that they'll probably be on sale for a much longer time period. I'm always looking for more recent games or more prolific games because those don't stay on sale very long, such as Hogwarts. I know that that didn't drop in price for a very long time last year, as well as the Trail series. That game or that series, I don't know, for whatever reason now I feel like I see it more on sale, but when I was like originally like looking at people play it and trying to get into it, I felt like I could never find those games on sale. So yeah, if a game is older, I'll probably pass it up whenever a sale comes around because I know that I can find it uh pretty easily. Either it'll be on sale longer or it'll go on sale again in a very soon time period. Um, the third thing I consider is review scores. I'm not a fan of basing my purchase strictly off of what journalists and YouTubers and TikTokers or whoever reviews the game. I don't really base it off of that, but I do believe that it's a good rule of thumb to try and get a good idea of what you're getting yourself into. Like, if a game has a 75 and it's for multiple reasons, like some people didn't like the story, some people didn't like the pacing, some people didn't like the mechanics, then I would say that that's a pretty safe purchase because there's no guarantee that those are objective reasons to dislike the game. But if it has a 75 and everybody's review is like, "Oh, this is a good game," but the performance sucks, or I'm constantly like getting crashes, or uh, the enemies like have aimbot, and there's pretty much no way that you can play this game on a higher difficulty because it's just like fundamentally unfair, then I would say that that's a good reason to avoid a game or to buy it and then hold off until it gets an update, or just wait until it gets an update to buy it. So yeah, review scores is that's something that I'll typically check if it's a game that I haven't heard of or it's not on my radar and I see it and it looks interesting. I'll go look at Reddit, Metacritic, OpenCritic. I watch multiple YouTube videos and if it's somebody that I actually trust to give a decent review, then typically I give more weight to their opinions. Like I can't think. Aeon Wrath of Ruin. I'm pretty sure it's a boomer shooter that just came out. I think a month ago, 2 months ago, and it was on PC for a while. They ported it to consoles, and I got it on Switch. Um, I have it because I do believe that hard copy is going to be pretty rare after a while. So I'm holding on to it until it gets an update. Or Ayuden Chronicles 100 Heroes, when that first came out on Switch, it had a lot of performance issues, which really dragged the scores down, and a few other things that could be seen as objective. But I typically like older JRPGs, so those weren't a problem for me. But all those things being said, I got it, held on to it, and they released a performance patch. So whenever I get around to playing it, it'll be all good. Um, the fourth thing that I consider whenever I'm adding games to the backlog is if it's a series that I partially own, or if it's a series that I really wanted to get into. Like growing up, I didn't really have the most control over the games that I wanted to play. So it was always like me going up to my dad, be like, "Hey, this game looks cool. This game looks cool. Blah blah blah." And if he thought that it would be a waste of money, or if it just didn't look like a good game, he probably wouldn't get it. And now that's not a diss. He got me great games growing up. But with that being said, whenever there's something that I want to get into now, I'll typically buy one of those games on sale and wait for the others. Or if they're all on sale, then I'll just get them all. Like Guacamelee has been out for a really long time, and that's like a beat 'em up Vania that I've never played. So I own both of those games. I bought them when they were both on sale. Um, Ease, the Falcom series, I was super interested in that. I played East Origins, and it ended up being really good. So then I just bought East 8, 9 Memories of Celceta. Is that how you say that? And when East 10 comes out later this year, then I'll get that too. Um, the last thing that I typically keep in mind when looking for games is what platform it's on. So, for the most part, I'm platform agnostic, meaning that I'll play anything anywhere as long as the game is good and it keeps my interest. But I do have somewhat a preference as far as form factor goes, and it'll be exactly in this order. It'll be Nintendo Switch, Xbox, PS5, and then PC. So if a game comes out and it's on, let's say it's on all four consoles, of course I'm going to look at performance on Switch and everything that people are saying about that, as well as taking some other things into account. Like, is it a game that's supposed to be graphically intensive? If so, then I'll probably go for either my Xbox or my PS5. I'll get into why PC is last a little bit later. But if the game is tolerable to good, then 9 times out of 10 I'm going to get it on my Switch. And another reason why I'm probably going to lean towards Switch is because I know the next one is going to be more powerful, and I know it's going to be backwards compatible, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, I'm building my Switch collection right now, so that's my go-to. Xbox, I really just like the UI. I like the controller. I've been playing Xbox my whole life, whatever. PS5, I'm not the biggest PlayStation fan. I really feel like they have JRPGs, and that's what speaks to me most. And then PC, I just don't like all of the tinkering and stuff you got to do, and the dependency on, oh, you have this GPU or you have this amount of RAM or whatever. So your game's performance isn't like a fixed variable. So yeah, yeah. Um oh, I don't know if I said five was the last, but I definitely have a sixth thing. Um The last thing that I consider when buying new games is if the game is physical or digital. In my last video, one of the pictures I have is literally just a picture of my one of my shelves. My other ones are in a different place right now. I'm still working on getting those here. But if a game has a physical edition, 9 times out of 10, that's what I'm going for. Digital is cool, it's convenient. I appreciate that I don't have to get up and go to my shelf for some games, but I like the feeling of when I buy something for $70, $60, however much that initial retail price is, then I have something physical to signify that this is mine, I bought it, and I own it. With that being said, I do take into account that some games don't have all of the data on the disk. Therefore, whenever I put it in for the first time, it'll be like a major update, or it's a game with DRM, so you're always online, whatever the case may be. But yeah, if there's a game and it gets announced, typically I'll wait to see if they do a physical edition. But sometimes I just end up losing out, or whatever the case may be. Like Alan Wake 2, that game came out last November, I think, and they didn't announce a physical edition until this past like 2 weeks ago at Summer Games Fest. So I missed out on that. I probably won't buy a physical edition of that because they're charging 70 and I paid what, like 40 something for it. So I won't spend 110 on a game that I still have yet to beat. But if I end up beating it and I love it the same way that I love the first one, then yes, I'll probably buy a physical edition. But yeah, yeah. That being said, those are all the things that I keep in mind whenever I'm adding to my backlog. I think a lot of these are no-brainers for most people because obviously you're gonna buy stuff on the platforms you like for a sale price, and uh, whenever it's cheaper, or older games, or of course you're gonna be looking for newer games, whatever the case may be. So I think a lot of these are no-brainers, but I just thought it would be cool to share some insight on my, I guess, checklist whenever I'm buying games and putting them in my backlog. So, yeah, if you like the video, and don't forget to comment and subscribe. What are some things that you guys consider whenever buying new games? Let me know down in the comments, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.